All right, everybody, welcome in here to the Trending Politics live stream. I want to make sure that we are going good here. So, guys, welcome in, everybody. Welcome in here to TrendingPolitics.com live stream. Welcoming in everyone. We've got hundreds of people joining in right now live. And let me see their comments. Comment below with where you guys are commenting from. We've got Pennsylvania in the house. Welcome in. All right, hold on, you guys. I have a little bit of an echo. Let me make sure we're all good. All right, here we go. All right, we're all good now. Everybody, thank you so much for joining us today. We've got so much to cover. So much to cover today. I don't even know how we're going to have the time to do it. So here's a fair warning. This is probably going to be one of the longer live streams. So if you can't make the whole thing, don't worry about it. But we're going to be talking about a wide variety of topics, okay? So number one, we have the Democrats who are they pulled off a record today. But first I want to welcome everyone. So I'm going to go down the list. We've got hundreds of comments coming in from YouTube, Facebook, all over. We got Pennsylvania, West Virginia, welcome in. Hello, Ruth. Hey, Joan. We got Michigan, Kentucky in the house, New Jersey, Eastern Washington, Austin. All right, guys. So that's my greeting to you guys here today. So what I want to start off today with talking about is as many of you guys have already heard, the legendary Herman Cain, really great man, has sadly passed away from complications of the coronavirus. Now, again, he was high risk for the coronavirus. He was 74 years old, but he also had battled cancer throughout the last several years. So his staff has openly said that he was not in the best of health anyways. So he was already not in the best of health. So he was in the high risk category. And, Herman Cain was famous for his 999 tax plan. He was a Christian. He was a man of God. He was really good friends with Sean Hannity, huge supporter of President Trump. Every time I saw him on Fox News, every time we heard him on the radio, he just had nothing but kind words. Very kind man. Even people on both sides of the aisle back in the day, they liked him. However, we are living in the year 2020. Now, the reason I'm going to bring up what I'm about to bring up is because I want to make sure that if you see things like this online, that you can debunk it and talk about it and shut it down as soon as it starts to gain traction. So the Democrats so people on the left, they're like, wait a minute, someone died? Cool, let's jump right on it. Let's jump right on it. So Jamil Hill, the ESPN, the former ESPN employee, she started her tweet good. She started her tweet very well. I was like, wow, we've got some hope here, folks. She says, I never agreed with a single thing Herman Cain said, but this is incredibly sad and unfortunate. And then she goes and screws it up. The politicization of public health is endangering people's lives. All right. Okay. All right, guys. So without saying it, she just said Herman Cain died because he didn't take the coronavirus seriously. Now, again, she didn't use those words, but she was saying the politicization. Maybe she wasn't saying that Herman Cain didn't take it seriously, but she's basically saying that because the coronavirus was politicized, that is endangering people's lives. Therefore, that's why Herman Cain died. So she started off her tweet very, very well. I've never agreed with a single thing Herman Cain said, but this is incredibly sad and unfortunate. And then, she could have ended the tweet there. But she says the politicization of public health is endangering people's lives. Are you kidding me? However, I will say this. That comment right there is PG compared to what Ana Navarro said. All right? We're going to bring up her tweet right now. Let me make sure I have it. So, that tweet was bad enough. If you thought that tweet was bad, just make sure to stay seated. Ana Navarro says, Herman Cain thought COVID was a hoax. He scoffed at wearing a mask, and he died of coronavirus. Okay? She talks about some other people here, but the one I want to focus on is Herman Cain. This man died less than 24 hours ago, and she is basically gloating about the fact that he is now dead. And the worst part about this is that this is slander. This is slander. Do any Google search. Do any, this morning, I wanted to make sure this was absolutely the truth or false. Herman Cain never thought coronavirus was a hoax. He never said it was a hoax. I typed in on Google, I typed in very specific keywords to type in Herman Cain coronavirus hoax. Not one story, not one article, not one quote of him saying that the coronavirus was a hoax. Not one. But guess what? The left, they wanted to politicize it. They said, hey, this guy died. We can politicize this today. Awesome. But see, here's the thing. This goes beyond politicization. This is slander. This is slander because he never, ever, ever said that. And then she says he scoffed at wearing a mask. Okay? Then, now, again, these are the people who, even though California is hitting record high coronavirus cases in the month of July, everyone is wearing a mask in California, okay? I live in California. I've lived here I lived here all my life. But for the last 4 months, I have not been able to go anywhere in public without wearing a mask. I've not been able to go into a restaurant. I have not been able to go into a grocery store, any establishment, any office. When I did my taxes, everything had to be fully masked. And guess what? California is continuously hitting record highs in coronavirus. In the month of July, they just skyrocketed. So she's scoffing, she's gloating because he didn't wear a mask and because he's dead now. Now, he didn't die because he didn't wear a mask. He died because he happened to contract it. The mask is not going to protect anyone. Even Dr. Fauci himself has said that the mask at most is going to stop a couple of droplets. Now, for me personally, hey, if it's even a 0.5% chance of me not getting someone else sick, okay, fine, I'll wear it. It's a 10-minute inconvenience for me. It's not the biggest deal in the world, especially if I can't go into the grocery store without it on. Not the biggest deal in the world. But to worship, it's the worship of masks that I cannot stand. So there you have it, people. So Ana Navarro, she skipped the politicization. She went straight to slander. Less than 24 hours after this man took his last breath, she is slandering him and saying that he didn't think the coronavirus, saying that he thought the coronavirus was a hoax, when that is a bold-faced lie, and it's absolutely disgusting. It is absolutely disgusting. Now, Candace Owens, the amazing, amazing conservative woman who's come out over the last few years and just been a fireball, she had a response to Ana Navarro, and I'm just going to let you guys read it here for a second because I don't want this stream getting taken down for any vulgar language. So just take a second to read that for a second, and I think Candace Owens can perfectly summarize how we're all feeling about Ana Navarro gloating about a 74-year-old Republican man who died of the coronavirus, who also, throughout his life, won a battle against cancer. Take a look at what Candace Owens has to say, and you guys in the comments below, please let me know if you agree with what she's saying. Let me know what you guys think about this comment, if it's accurate, whatever it may be. Let me know your opinion. Okay, so that was a pretty heavy story. Some things are definitely going down here. However, so now what I want to do is I want to talk about another topic. Now, the Democrats, I think they made history today. I mean, I don't know when the last time we can say this, everybody, but they almost need a round of applause. Nobody thought they could do it, but they have managed to politicize 2 deaths in 1 day. I got to admit, quite the day for Democrats, quite the accomplishment. Normally, they politicize 1 death, if it happens in a day, but they have the rare occasion today to politicize 2 deaths. So number 1, Herman Cain, who, as I said, less than 24 hours ago, the poor man took his last breath, and the Democrats are already slandering him and lying about him and gloating about his death. But former failed president Barack Obama was giving a eulogy at John Lewis's funeral, or he was giving the speech at John Lewis's funeral, and he decided to push mail-in ballots and push voter ID. Now, we'll analyze this video in a second, but just watch what the man has to say.
But even as we sit here, there are those in power who are doing their darndest to discourage people from voting by closing polling locations and targeting minorities and students with restrictive ID laws and attacking our voting rights with surgical precision, even undermining the Postal Service in the run-up to an election that's going to be dependent on mail-in ballots so people don't get sick.
All right, everyone. So, former President Obama, he says that there needs to be mail-in ballots so that everyone doesn't get sick. Okay. So, let me just get this straight, everyone. And I'm painting a very, very accurate picture of what politics in America looks like in this very moment. Barack Obama and the Democrats are basically telling us, hey, our people can protest in the streets by the tens of thousands in some cases, at the very least by the several thousands. They can protest shoulder to shoulder together, and they can chant things, which again, the Democrats say you can't sing in church, but apparently you can chant social justice slogans out in the street. As long as you're wearing a mask, all that is okay. However, at the same time, they're looking at us with a straight face and saying, but whoa, 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 whoa. Don't you think that you can go into a voting precinct, stand 6 feet apart and wear a mask? Whoa, whoa, whoa. So on one hand, the Democrats are saying you can protest by the tens of thousands, chant whatever you want, no social distancing. You can twerk in the streets of Portland. You can dance and sing and holler and yell. And that's fine, because that's in the name of social justice. But we need mail-in ballots, because if people don't use mail-in ballots, they're going to get sick. Even though grocery stores are open everywhere around the country. What's more dangerous? Someone at a voting precinct standing 6 feet apart wearing a mask? Or a cashier touching everything that passes? Having I've been in grocery stores where they have not cleaned the belt that carries all the groceries. How do we know? Like, how can that be safer than someone going into a voting precinct and standing 6 feet apart from each other, and maybe you share a pen and you sanitize your hand right before you vote? But the Democrats are okay with everything else. They're okay with everything else, and they're especially okay with protesting by the tens of thousands in the street, as long as it serves their narrative. As long as it serves their narrative. So, congratulations to the Democrats. I didn't think they could pull it off, but they did. They were able to politicize 2 deaths in one day, and quite frankly, I didn't think that they could pull it off, but man, they did. Speaking of Barack Obama, his former Vice President Joe Biden. Now, I'm going to be totally honest with you guys. I did not see this. This was 10 days ago, and you guys know me. Sorry, if you guys don't know me, I don't know why I haven't put this up yet. My name is Clayton Kearns, trendingpolitics.com. But I've been on these streams every single day, so a lot of you guys are familiar with who I am. Guys, I follow the news 24/7, Monday through Sunday, every single day of my life for the last 5 years. And apparently this video of Biden got launched 10 days ago. I didn't see this. Now, many of you probably saw this. But Joe, as you guys know, President Trump, when he first came into office, he suspended travel from certain, not all, but certain countries that were majority Muslim, okay? Now, the Democrats are calling it a Muslim ban. It is not a Muslim ban, okay? People are still able to come into the country if they are Muslim, but from certain countries who happen to be majority Muslim are not able to enter the country. So Joe Biden said that he will revoke that day one of his presidency. If he were to get elected. Check this out. I can't believe I missed it. Maybe you guys didn't miss it. That's on me for not finding it earlier for trendingpolitics.com. Check it out.
Muslim communities were the first to feel Donald Trump's assault on black and brown communities in this country with his vile Muslim ban. Under this administration, we've seen an unconscionable rise in Islamic phobia. The incidents including kids being bullied in school and hate crimes in our communities. He's named people with a history of open Islamic phobia, open, straightforward, who have no business serving in high positions in our government. What message does this send to the rest of the world? We have led the world not just by the example of our power, but the power of our example. And he's making a mockery of what we stand for. We can do something about it. And I'm here today to ask you to join me in a fight to rip this poison from our government root and stem. That will include having Muslim American voices as part of my administration. If I have the honor of being president, I will end the Muslim ban on day one. And we're going to restore American leadership around the world, starting by putting our democratic values and our diplomacy at the center of our foreign policy again.
All right, everybody. So there you have it. Joe Biden is not only likely going to pick an African-American woman to be VP just because of... See, I thought that that was racist to do something just because of someone's color of their skin. And now he's saying he will open... Now, hey, I'm fine if you have a Muslim American in your cabinet. Okay. But not just based on that. I mean, I don't mind an all-black cabinet, an all-anything cabinet. But don't just do it just because of their color of skin. But that's beside the point. However, you heard it right there from the horse's mouth that on day one, if he is elected, he will take away the ban from those countries where people have come in the past and have done danger to our country. So, as I always tell you guys, just because we don't think that he can win, and just because he needs a teleprompter to speak, and my God, he was slurring words even with the teleprompter right there, you guys. However, even though that's the case, we cannot underestimate the hatred of the left against Trump. If Joe Biden is elected, say goodbye to the Department of Homeland Security, say goodbye to Border Patrol, say goodbye to ICE, Muslim ban taken, not the Muslim ban, but the ban from the majority Muslim countries, that's going to be revoked. Be ready for some craziness, guys, which is why we have to be on guard at all times. We cannot let this go. Now, the next topic I want to talk about with you guys is the fact that the liberal media, if you do not fall into their category of who a Trump supporter should be, because what has the liberal media tried telling the world for years? All Trump supporters are white racists. That's how they slander us every single day. Racist, sexist, bigots, deplorables, basket of deplorables, every name in the book they've called us, right? They call us those names. President Trump calls us American. Now, what you're about to see is a smackdown of epic proportions. Okay? Democrat Rep. Vernon Jones went on to MSNBC, and the MSNBC race-baiting host asked him if he is supporting Trump because he's being paid. Think about that, people. He doesn't ask other people if they're being paid for supporting Trump, but look at how he positions this, and then sit back, grab a bowl of popcorn, and watch the epic smackdown that ensued. Here we go.
Are you a paid campaign surrogate? Are you being compensated?
Let me be clear. You get paid to shape a liberal narrative. You get paid to attack this president. I don't get a dime for this president. I don't get a dime from the campaign. Everything I've done has been me and based on my principles. And see, that's the problem. When an African American that's elected official,
I did not raise your race.
Let me finish.
Whoa. You're not going to imply that I asked that question because you're black.
So don't ask me that. You only ask me that because I don't fit your narrative. No, this president never offered anything. I don't want anything from this president. It's what I can do for my country. And you need to accept that many other African Americans and others support this president because of his policies. And to insult me to say, am I getting paid?
I've asked the same question. I've asked the same question
and that's
of Democrats who come on.
MSNBC and their narrative to keep blacks silent who happen to support this president. Why can't I be like white liberals or other whites? Nobody questions if they're getting paid. So I have to get paid. Do you ask Democrats? Do they get paid?
I just said if you
paid by Joe Biden.
I just said to you.
Have you ever asked any host on your show that they've been paid by Joe Biden?
State Representative Vernon Jones. Representative Jones, thank you.
Wow. I mean, if that doesn't make you smile, if that does not make you smile from ear to ear, I don't know what will, people. I don't know what will. That MSNBC host knew what he was asking, and he tried to backtrack on it. If you guys notice, he goes, I didn't bring up your race. I didn't bring up your race. So that's what the left is going to use. Now, the left likes to say a word against us called a dog whistle, right? If we say America first, they say that that's a dog whistle for white supremacy, okay? But it's not. But the left just used their own dog whistle. Hey, Mr. Vernon Jones, are you paid by the Trump campaign? And thank God Vernon Jones went off, because we all know what that question meant. We all know what that question meant. But because the transcript is going to just hear him say that, then he's going to be off scot-free. But we all know the truth. We all know what he meant by that, okay? So comment below whether you're watching this on YouTube or Facebook. Let me know your reaction to that, because that encapsulates the liberal media. They do not want you to support President Trump if you are a minority, okay? So the next thing I want to talk about, you guys, and I'm actually blowing through these topics pretty quick. I thought it was going to be a little bit longer, but hey, we're making some good time here. So as you guys have probably seen, President Trump tweeted this morning. He tweeted out a tweet that is sending the media and the Democrats into a hissy fit, and I want to explain the strategy here, everyone. So Donald J. Trump says, with universal mail-in voting, not absentee voting, which is good, 2020 will be the most inaccurate and fraudulent election in history. It will be a great embarrassment to the USA. Delay the election until people can properly, securely, and safely vote. So he just kind of, sprinkled that in at the very end of the tweet and just asked a question. He didn't say that he was going to delay the election. He just asked the question, okay? So the left melted down immediately over this, but I want to just tell you guys, as we all know, President Trump, okay, so for some of you guys who don't know or haven't heard of Scott Adams, he often talks about Trump's psychological prowess. He is the best influencer that Scott Adams, the trained hypnotherapist, has ever seen in his life. This is called negotiation, okay? Democrats want mail-in voting, but they also want people to be safe. So President Trump offered a way to say, hey, you want to be safe? How about we delay the election? Knowing that 100% of the Democrats do not want the election to be delayed because they don't want President Trump to be in office anymore. This is a chess match. President Trump just put out the queen and he's ready to strike. So he threw out and said, look, maybe we delay the election. Get them to say, no, we're not going to delay the election, and say, okay, well, look, guys, you're not going to need massive mail-in ballots because there has been fraud in the past. You're going to stand in a line and you're going to wear a mask. If you can protest by the tens of thousands with a mask, you can stand in a voting line 6 feet apart from everyone wearing a mask. So I'll put it up again, but remember, President Trump right here is asked the question about potentially delaying the election. But guys, just know that this is a negotiation tactic, okay? People, the fact that the left hasn't caught on to this by now kind of makes me even more afraid for their movement, okay? I don't understand it. I don't understand it. So just keep that aware, because that is going to be a huge topic of conversation over the next few days. So a couple more things I want to talk about, guys, and then I will let you go on your way. Now, Dr. Fauci, we all know Dr. Fauci. He's been incredibly inconsistent. Dr. Fauci is now saying, sorry, guys, I'm bringing it up here. The article didn't load. Dr. Fauci now wants the American people to wear goggles. Here we go, guys. Goggles for COVID-19 protection. Goggles. This was the man who at first said you don't need a mask. It only stops a couple of drops. Then the man said you need a mask. Then he said the coronavirus is no risk to Americans. Then he said it's a great risk. Then on March 9th, Dr. Fauci said, hey, if you want to go on a cruise, go on a cruise. And then he said, shut the country down. Well, now Dr. Fauci wants us to not only wear a mask, but to put goggles on. I don't know what to say anymore, people. I don't know what to say anymore. The left, for some reason, worships this man. Anything he says. He's up and he's down. He's yes and he's no. He's all around, you guys. I don't know what to say anymore. So now Dr. Fauci is urging Americans to wear goggles. Now, again, there has been no controlled test study about goggles and their effectiveness. But guess what? The Democrats will push that because Fauci said it. Just be aware of that, guys, because This story just broke this morning, so I just urge you just to stay aware of it. One more story before we get to our final topic, everybody, is that there sadly are still no updates in the tragic death of Burnell Trammell, the 60-year-old black Trump supporter who was killed in Milwaukee. This was the man. He was killed right in broad daylight, right on the street in front of his business where he often displays Trump 2020 signs. He was killed, and we still have no information, sadly. We do have a picture of the potential suspect that Milwaukee Police Department is still looking for. So if any of you guys are local to the area, here's a few of the pictures that they have released. If any of you guys have any information. Now, thankfully, there has been an investigation that's about to start because we still have no suspects in custody. So we're still hoping for justice for Burnell Trammell, hoping that all gets squared away. His family started a GoFundMe. You can go on trendingpolitics.com. Just scroll down. I believe we posted the article 2 days ago about the GoFundMe for his family so they don't have to pay for funeral expenses. So you guys just keep praying for Burnell Trammell's family. It's a very sad situation. But hey, if you feel the need to give to the cause, there's also a petition out there to get justice for Burnell Trammell. So let's see how that goes. So guys, just Google that, and then hopefully I will have a good update for you guys here pretty soon. Okay. Now the last story I want to talk about is all about freedom of speech, you guys. So as many of you guys know, the NBA season is starting tonight. I believe it's tonight. It's either tonight or tomorrow night. The NBA season is starting again tonight. And for those of you who don't know, the NBA has been very afraid to criticize China. They make billions of dollars from China, and they are afraid of criticizing them at all. In fact, when the Hong Kong protests were going on, the pro-democracy Hong Kong protests, the players, the coaches, and the executives were silent. Even though terrible things were happening to those protesters just for protesting for democracy and freedom, the NBA said, we're not talking about it. So Senator Josh Hawley sent them this letter. Okay, I'm going to read it for you guys. Oh, no, sorry. So Josh Hawley sent them this letter, and he asked them these questions, okay? So Josh Hawley, in the question number 1, he says, is the NBA prepared to allow... And sorry, guys, I just want to give you a quick recap of why I'm talking about this. Is because the attack on free speech is real, and we can't let stuff like this get away, okay? This is the state of free speech in America right now in 2020, and it is under attack. And the NBA is kowtowing to China, and we have to call it out. So Josh Hawley says, question number 1, is the NBA prepared to allow its players to wear phrases in support of the United States, the American military, and U.S. law enforcement, such as God Bless America, support our troops? Or will it censor players from wearing such messages on their jerseys? Now, for a little bit of context, you guys, the NBA has released a list of slogans that NBA players can have on the back of their jerseys, namely Black Lives Matter, education reform, equality, freedom, group economics, how many more, I can't breathe, all these things. Say his name, say their name. Now, these are all slogans basically from Black Lives Matter. Most of them are, okay? So he asked the NBA, is it okay for a player to support the United States of America? The short answer was no. But look how they worded it. Guys, you are not going to believe these answers. You're not going to believe these answers. The NBA says, the NBA and the Players Association have agreed that the shared goal of the NBA season restart will be to use the league's platform in Orlando to promote racial equality in our country. To this end, while NBA jerseys generally may not be customized by players, each player may elect to have a social justice message appear on the game jersey. Players may choose from specific options that were generated by the Players Association, such as equality, peace, justice, Black Lives Matter. Each player may elect to have no message on his jersey. The short answer is hell no, we're not going to let you support America and say, God bless America. they're not going to let you say, support our troops, back the blue. The answer from the NBA is hell no. You can only talk about the left-wing talking points, and you can only put Black Lives Matter. And hey, look it, I am for equality as well. I'm against police brutality as well. But guess what? I'm not for the organization Black Lives Matter because of their tactics and their anti-America and anti-cop sentiment. So, but it gets worse. It gets worse. So, then they try up here towards the top, right there, they say jerseys with social justice messages that are worn during the first 4 nights will be auctioned. So then they try to soften the blow a little bit by saying, but this is going to raise money. And then Josh Hawley drops the bomb, and you're not going to believe this. He goes, are public reports correct that the list of phrases approved for display on the NBA players' jerseys does not include messages in support of victims of the Chinese Communist Party? The NBA says, please see the response to question number 1. Then Josh Hawley asks, if a player chooses to display a message of support for victims of the Chinese Communist Party on their jersey, will the NBA allow the player to wear the jersey, or will it censor that player in order to avoid drawing Beijing's ire? The NBA? Please see the response to question number 1. And 2 more. This one was crazy. How does the NBA plan to defend NBA players against retaliation by the Chinese Communist Party if they choose to speak out against the party's actions in Hong Kong? And they said, we are respectfully unable to respond to this hypothetical question, other than to say that values of equality, respect, and freedom of expression have long defined the NBA, and we support the ability of our players and other team representatives to speak out on issues of public concern that are important to them. Basically, we're not going to do anything if our players criticize China. And then finally, he says, is the NBA prepared to publicly condemn any attempt by the Chinese Communist Party to silence or punish these individuals? The NBA says, please see the response to question number 4. So everyone, that is what the NBA, and I say this is because it starts there, you guys, but do not think that this can't influence mainstream thought out in the world of politics, okay? The NBA is now kowtowing to China, and they will not support anyone who speaks out against the Chinese communist regime. They will not defend anyone who gets targeted by China for speaking out. And ideally, they love their billions of dollars that comes from China, so they are staying silent. Protesters were having terrible things happen to them in China. And guess what? The NBA turned a blind eye. While they are protesting for racial equality here in the United States, people in Hong Kong were getting brutally treated for just wanting democracy, and the NBA players were silent. Always remember that, you guys. Many people have told me they're going to boycott the NBA, the MLB, and the NFL, and you know what? That is your God-given right to do so. If you want to do that, I encourage that greatly, because these people are some of the worst hypocrites that I've ever seen in my entire life. LeBron James likes to go out there as a social justice warrior. He's not. He's only a social justice warrior when he wants to be, not for all people. So, everybody, I appreciate every single one of you guys for being on here. Okay, we still have several hundred people between all of our different platforms. Love you guys. Have a great rest of your Thursday, everybody. I am most likely going to be back tomorrow at 12 p.m. I might take a bye. I might take a rest because after doing this for almost 10 times in the last 12 days, my voice is almost gone. I know you guys can't hear it, but my voice is almost gone. So I may not be back tomorrow. I might be if enough news breaks, but just be aware of that if I'm not back on tomorrow, guys. So everyone, go to ilovemyfreedom.com. We got a bunch of pro-Trump merchandise for sale. We've got pro-Trump shirts, hats. We've even got masks. I know I said, hey, you know, masks only stop a couple droplets, and that's true. But guess what? In many places, you can't even go into a restaurant or a grocery store. So, hey, if your state is requiring you to wear a mask, might as well piss some people off in the process. That's what I say. And then as always as well, make sure to go to trendingpolitics.com for all the latest news. We post more than 20 articles a day there. Always keep you guys up to date. If any of you guys, I'm sure most of you guys are watching this from your mobile device. If you're watching this from your mobile device, as soon as this stream is over, go to the App Store and download our Trending Politics app, and we send out push notifications. Everyone really loves it. Okay, guys? All right, everybody. You guys have a great rest of your Thursday. I will be talking to you guys very, very soon, and you guys have a good one. You're welcome, Roxy. Everyone. All right, Ruth, thank you very much. You guys have a good one. Okay, Cindy. Patricia says take a break. I'll see. Let me see how my voice feels tomorrow. Okay, guys? Okay, you guys. Love you guys. Have a great rest of your day, and I will be talking to you guys very, very soon.